What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be comparing the new RSA Interdiction with the Locus sniper rifle in Black Ops 3. There's a lot of similarities between the two, and I just wanted to share with you guys which one is better and is it really worth it to get this RSA Interdiction in a supply drop. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so these stats were just recently released. These are the hard-coded stats taken from Marvel 4's stat chart, which I will link down below if you want to go look at them in more detail. But basically, from what it looks like, they just copied the Locus 100% and then they changed about 5 or 6 different values to make the RSA Interdiction. So they're very, very similar in a lot of ways, but there are some key differences which I will be pointing out in this video. Any other stat that I don't mention in this video should be literally identical between the Locus and the RSA. I might miss something really minor, but as far as I'm aware, I've covered all the bases here. So first up, one of the most important stats with a sniper rifle is the multipliers, because sniper rifles actually usually don't deal 100 damage or more than 100 damage on their own, which means they're not going to be a one-shot kill until you factor in the multipliers. So the Locus does 95 base damage, and then it has a 2 times multiplier, which means we actually multiply that 95 by 2 if you hit them in these areas. And these areas are the neck, head, upper torso, and mid-torso. If you hit them anywhere within those areas of the body, they will die in one shot. Anywhere else, so the lower torso and the limbs, so the legs and the arms, it will not be a one-shot kill. You'll just get a hit marker because you're only dealing 95 damage. Let's contrast that with the RSA Interdiction. So with this gun, they actually have a 75 base damage, which is 20 points lower than the Locus, but it doesn't really matter that much if we're not factoring in multipliers, unless you're trying to get like an assist or you're trying to shoot them and then swap to a pistol or something like that. As far as your one-shot kills go, it's still the multipliers that matter. And the multipliers for the RSA are 2 for the head and neck, and then 1.5 for the upper torso. And that 1.5 is still going to be a one-shot kill because 1.5 times 75 is clearly over 100 points of health. But you'll notice our mid-torso, lower torso, and limbs are all a 1 times multiplier, meaning you'll only do that 75 damage if you hit them there, and it won't be a one-shot kill in core game modes. So with the RSA, we actually lose that mid-torso one-shot kill area that we have with the Locus, and you do have to aim a little bit higher, and you have to be a little bit more accurate. So next up, let's cover the rate of fire, and this one's pretty basic. The Locus fires at 57 rounds per minute, and the RSA fires a little bit slower at 50 rounds per minute. So again, the Locus beats out the RSA in this category. Next, we have the aim down sight time, which is quite important for sniper rifles, especially for those people that like to quickscope. The Locus will aim down sight in 340 milliseconds, whereas the RSA aims down sight in 400 milliseconds. And just for reference, 400 milliseconds is exactly how long it takes to aim down sight with an SVG, so it feels like an SVG when you're trying to quickscope or aim down sight. The next one that might seem kind of minor, but it's actually quite a big difference, is the idle sway value. This value, the higher the value is, the more idle sway you have, so you want to have the lowest number possible. The Locus has an idle sway value of 10, and the RSA Interdiction has an idle sway value of 40. So it has 4 times the idle sway that the Locus has. And just so you guys can compare them here, I put an ELO sight on both of them. Keep in mind the ELO does not impact your idle sway at all, your base idle sway. Just so you could compare apples to apples with that, and you're not looking at 2 different scopes or anything. And you can clearly see the RSA has a lot of idle sway compared to the Locus, and this makes a pretty big difference, especially at longer ranges. Next up, we have field of view. This is essentially how far you're zoomed in. The lower the field of view, the more you're zoomed in. The higher the field of view, the more you're zoomed out. So the Locus has a field of view value of 23, and the RSA Interdiction has a field of view value of 18, which is actually equivalent to the SVG, so it is zoomed in slightly more than the Locus with the default scope. Next up, let's look at their magazine capacity. The Locus has a magazine capacity of 10 rounds, and the RSA has a magazine capacity of only 6 rounds. Also, I didn't bother putting it in this chart, but it is important to note that you start out with 60 rounds total with the Locus, whereas with the RSA, you only start with 24 rounds. So you do have significantly less rounds to deal with when you first spawn in, but still, like 24 rounds is quite a bit with a sniper rifle, and most of the time I feel like you don't use all 24 rounds in a single life, unless you're going on a really long streak or something like that, or if your aim just really, really sucks, kind of like mine. So the Locus clearly does win in this category once again. So if you are a really good sniper that stays alive for a really long period of time, or your aim just sucks but you're still able to stay alive, and you find yourself running out of ammo, you might need to run Scavenger with the RSA. So the final difference between these two sniper rifles, and finally somewhere where the RSA has an advantage over the Locus, is target assist. As most of us know, the Locus and SVG have absolutely no target assist whatsoever. The RSA, on the other hand, does have target assist when you're aiming down sight. So it does behave similar to the Draken or the P06 in that it does give you a little bit of target assist, assuming you're using controllers. So obviously those guys with mouse and keyboard on PC, you are not getting this target assist, but anybody that uses a controller will get the target assist. Now, how much does this target assist actually help? I actually didn't notice it helping me too much. Now keep in mind I haven't had a ton of playtime with the RSA yet. I've used it a couple times. And also, I've gotten very used to not drag scoping, which is where target assist really helps out, is when you try to drag scope over your target really quickly. I've gotten into that habit of avoiding drag scoping, so if I started to get back into the habit of drag scoping, it might help out a lot, but so far I haven't noticed a significant difference between having aim assist and no aim assist with the RSA Interdiction. And another thing to keep in mind is even though you do have this target assist, you do have to hit a smaller target as well, because we have different multipliers between the RSA and the Locus. So there we have it. Those are all the statistical differences between the Locus and the RSA. Everything else is identical. Even the reload times, even though they're slightly different animations, the reload times are identical between the two. So for me, I find that the Locus is definitely more powerful in pretty much every situation than the RSA. The RSA is clearly inferior aside from the target assist, and I don't feel that the target assist makes up for all of the downsides of this gun. It doesn't help that much, and therefore I feel like the Locus is a superior gun overall. And I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. For those of you that have used the RSA Interdiction, do you like it more than the Locus, or do you prefer the Locus? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.